Okay. Amelia Greymount is an artist at heart, but she'll take that to her grave. She gave up all romantic ambitions after she saw a family of farmers ravaged and broken by a monster she had no power to stop. She's spent every day since mastering her mind and body for combat, obsessed with the need to become a leader her people can look up to. She's still working on the social aspects, but one day she'll be an inspiring leader. Her cushy, noble life can wait. She has adventuring to do.
Hi, my name is Arya. Most people call me Ari, though. I am an Eladrin who was found in a cave in the pramaterial plane, adopted by the most wonderful parents that anyone could ask. As much to dismay to my Witcher mother, I took more pride in learning singing and dancing than I ever did in swordplay. Although my mother says I shouldn't dance because it always causes odd phenomenons and we're not entirely sure why or how, I hope one day to find a wonderful romance like my parents. I know the world can be a fantastic place, although sometimes it's scary.
Okay. Home sweet home. It's a unusually pretty day in Alaria. The wind is blowing strong, keeping the clouds from condensing and soaking the earth as it so frequently wants to do. You are all in Greykeep, Amelia's home, where her grandfather and her mother, her sibling, and many beloved servants live and work and toil away their days. You guys are currently in the garden. A small stone wall separates the gardens from the rest of the main plaza. Greykeep is 6 stories tall, 50 meters on a side, square tower, with narrow, defensive archer slit style windows, heavy reinforced doors. Surrounding it is the main yard, the stables on one side, the garden behind its privacy wall on the other, archery butts just a little farther away, and many footpaths carving their way through the grass. Then there's the outer wall. The outer wall is not all that impressive by the standards of the day. It's only 15 feet tall, only wide enough for 2 guards to pass each other if they decide to look each other in the eye while they do so. It has a few standing guard shacks, roofs mostly just to keep the rain off. It's strong, it's utilitarian, it's not particularly pretty. And that's one reason why there is the garden. Amelia's mother simply could not stand living in such a militaristic place without adding some kind of beauty to it. This is where I'm going to drop you guys off in your characters. Having tea with Mrs. Amelia, well, Ms. technically, being widowed, Greybound. The boys are, well, they're being boys.
Amelia walks in. She's carrying some food, some comfort food that these guys had when they were younger. Um, she's got some stew and whatever else Arya likes.
Pastries. Lots and lots of
Great.
pastries.
Yep, I carry those in on a giant tray and set it down unceremoniously on the table and say, well, soup's up. Hope you don't hate it.
I'm sure it's lovely.
Thanks.
Arya's eyes grow 2 sizes too large for her already strangely proportioned face as she can't help herself but reach for one of the pastries.
These look delicious.
Amelia's mother smiles politely as she picks up her teacup and salt.
She takes a bite. Delicious. I love lemon square.
Well, the look's not really the important part, huh? Let me know. For real, be honest.
You've done such a lovely job with the garden.
Amelia squints for a second and then decides that she believes Arya and takes a bite of her own. All right, yeah.
I think I remember before this was even nice looking, vaguely. I was very young.
Yeah, it looks great, Mom.
But I was. She giggles. I think I was about 12 years old when I first planted the ivy there. She's beaming. She's happy to have both of her girls, as she refers to you. I mean, she claims Arya as her child, despite the fact that you guys are distantly related cousins. Lady Greymound takes a lemon square and she bites into it. Tis very good. Tis very good. She inspects some of the purple trumpet vines growing over her shoulder. She says, "Well, how is Nicodemus doing? He is getting that age. I'm afraid that he's going to start getting into trouble."
Oh, he's
Going to. Yeah.
She just looks at her with this look of hush on her face. He's doing fine. He's training up nicely. He's a bit of a handful for Alex at times, but
I don't know Alex very well, but once you tell me, I don't think he has the most amount of patience out of anyone that I could meet.
Alex, you'd think that he would have more patience, considering that he is meant to train many of youth, but
Men always expect more of their own children. She looks at Amelia, and she says, "And I take it Bowen is keeping you out of trouble?"
Yeah, it's almost like having a dad. It's super great. I mean, I love Bowen to bits, but it's so nice to not have him.
Her face gets kind of dark when you're like, "It's almost like having a dad." And, you know, your father died, not too long ago, like a couple of years ago.
Sorry, that was not in the best taste. Sorry.
Go on. Go on. It's fine. I miss your father too. And she reaches over and she pats your knee.
I know that can't be easy. I know that's something that I'm going to have to deal with really soon, and I know it can't be easy.
Lady Greymound looks sad for Arya, and he says, "You were saying something about Bowen."
Oh, me. Yes. I mean, again, I love him, but like I'm pretty much a grown woman and he still hovers over me like a bird and it's just nice to have a few minutes away, that's all. That was it.
Ah,
You would think he wouldn't be able to hover with his height.
You'd think, huh?
well, we did hire the best we could find, so I imagine if hovering needs to be done, he'll find a way. So,
Yeah, I've grown accustomed to it.
I am delighted to have both of my girls back in the garden and spending the night under our roof again. Your grandfather, Amelia, will be quite pleased to see you when you deign to visit him in his study.
How is Uncle doing?
He's getting a bit on in years, and it's hard for him to see. But
Because yeah, he's older than Dad, so I could see that.
something he claims it's his piety. I think it's the stout brews he's been drinking since he turned 40. I think it's pickled him. He still walks around and only occasionally forgets who we are.
That almost sounds like my other uncle walking around. Huh?
It's rather impressive, all things considered. But tell me more about your uncle.
Reardon? You've
Yes.
met him. The drunken old coot that wanders around the castle.
You're the best storyteller I know.
Yes, do tell us a story about that scoundrel. I remember the time he grabbed at my skirt. Caught more than just fabric, mind you.
Sounds about right.
No.
Then he caught a slap across the face because one does not treat a lord's daughter that way, hero or no hero.
If I remember correctly, he married into royalty.
Not of this country.
No.
The barbarians to the north don't count.
No, the illegitimate children have stopped showing up. So that's a plus.
That's a nice surprise.
They were showing up by the dozens at one point.
Well, go on.
I don't quite know what else I could say. I mean, if you're an elf, you probably shouldn't visit his workshop very often.
I can certainly see that, she says, and sets her teacup and saucer down, and being properly emptied of its delicious content, and she offers to refill y'all's glasses. Arya, are
Thank
you on
you.
your 5th or 6th lemon square?
Probably 6. She just shoved them in her face.
Oh, you're getting sugar all over me. Stop it, stop.
Sorry.
Okay, well, now I'm gonna have to, pat wash this, and that's such a hassle. It's fine. I'm glad you like the lemon squares.
I got sugar all over myself, and I have to wash this because it's really hard to find clothes that fit me.
I mean, I suppose you could...
Tell you
kind
what,
of
I'll make a water fight out of it.
Hmm?
I mean, what?
I was going to suppose, in jest, of course, that Arya shop in the men's section.
To be fair, most men are shorter than I.
It would still get you closer, my dear.
Yeah, I have to get everything custom made because apparently according to Red, I should go to the Shogunate. They're all really tall there and about my height.
I think you've spoken of Red. Who is Red again?
Red is she's some form of Pandaren, not from this plane of existence, but she traveled with my mother and father and Reardon when they adventured together. She's a really nice woman. Apparently, monks kind of stop aging after a while.
Well, I certainly wish I could have had that benefit about 10 years ago. So, I brought you here both because I desperately wanted to see both of you, girl. And because, well, there's a party coming up. A great gala. In the royal halls to boot.
Arya's like bouncing in her seat.
Amelia is more subtle in her excitement, but it's definitely showing.
I'd have to get something made. I don't have anything for a fancy ball.
Well, I suppose you better hurry, because it is in only 2 days before we must leave for the capital. You see, it is a celebration.
A celebration of what?
Young Prince Leopold has found himself a princess.
Oh. Well, congrats to him.
And they are to be married. He will be assuming his father's throne after his honeymoon. All of the dukes and barons and their wives, attachments, hangers-on, and liaisons, as well as diplomats and emissaries from foreign lands, will all be there to attend this once-in-a-generation festivity, and I desperately wanted you two to go.
Well, I couldn't say no.
Me either. This sounds delightful.
You guys hear a voice from the other side of the wall. Yeah, but I was looking forward to this water fight. And Nick pokes his head over the stone wall, and he kind of climbs up on it and just sits on it. It's like, hey, Ari, hey, Amelia, Ms. Greyhound.
Hi, Nick.
How's it going?
Nick, you scoundrel, were you eavesdropping? Oh, well, yeah, and yes, and good. But you too. But seriously, this water fight is going to happen because if not, I've got things I should be doing.
Rain check.
What about
Quite
a
literally a
waterfall?
rain check, Nick. We'll talk about it later. Thanks.
He just kind of like looks insulted and kind of waves what you said off. Well, I suppose I'm going to have to break out the old tux if we're going to a royal wedding.
I don't think I've ever seen you in anything fancy at all.
Fancy makes me stand out even more than I already do. And he just leans backwards and falls off the back, the far side of the garden wall. You guys hear a very slight, like thud. And he comes walking out. You see him walk across the doorway completely fine. He probably stuck the landing. Bowen comes running up after him. Nick, where have you been? I've been looking for you. His little legs just.
I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb and people are going to stare at me. Oh no.
There will be high elves there, dear, from Evermeet. The most elfly elves that ever elfed, she says.
Right, but even high elves look at me funny.
I wish I could help you, dear. But there will also be night elves. I mean, they're purple.
That they are. My mother told me stories about night elves and
I expect the Golden Dynasty to send an emissary as well, so there should be, an 8-foot tall fairy person walking around.
DM, what is the Golden Dynasty?
It is what became of the shogunate after the Celestial Emperor descended from the Celestial Plane. Basically, they're still samurai and feudal, but they're in a state of like unity underneath the Emperor, who came down as an infant Pandaren, supposedly in a golden beam of light directly into the Imperial Palace.
Is that
should be interesting.
But now he's grown up.
Sorry. Is that common knowledge?
I mean, if you've ever studied them at all, okay. Yeah. And you guys would have had to study them at least a little bit. So. They are a neighboring country. They're kind of important.
Sweet.
I mean, at least in our group, we all stick out, so we stick out less.
Hey, and I've got blue skin, so I will make sure to accentuate that so that we can stick out together.
Yes, your proclivity for scarlet and crimson certainly heightens the characteristics your father passed on. Speaking of which, your grandmother has been sighted in the nearby river again. She may be back from whatever journey she partakes of. You might be able to speak with the river spirit if you are lucky.
Yeah, that would be good to do.
Couldn't find a word, and it threw off my character entirely. The word was nymph. Water nymph.
Okay. Thank you. I think I will pursue that at some point.
And don't forget to see your grandfather before you go. He doesn't have much longer, and
Oh, you act like I don't want to see him. It's just we don't ever talk about anything, but it's fine for short amounts of time.
No, I understand that. I should probably go see Uncle as well.
Yes, please.
Hopefully he remembers our names this time. I don't know how he somehow mistaked me for my mother the last time.
That was interesting to see.
I mean, there's quite a height difference, and
it's okay. We'll get through this together. And she, gives that friendship grip on her arm.
So, Lady Greymound smiles and stands up, and she says, "Well, tea has been delightful as always. I will see to a couple of affairs pertaining to getting the transportation ready for the 4 of you, actually, to go to the royal wedding in the capital, and should only take a few hours. If you need me, I'll be about." And she gives both of you a hug, and she kisses Amelia on the forehead.
Yeah, she
And
couldn't reach Arya's forehead.
she wouldn't try either.
Amelia smiles and just nods back.
As Arya gets up, she wipes the powdered sugar off of her outfit that she has covered
Amelia
herself
follows
in.
suit and good-naturedly flicks a little bit onto Arya's face.
Oh,
Water fight.
I don't know how you managed to aim that up to my face. Good job.
I try.
So you guys proceed, I take it, to the top level of the keep and the solar where
Aaron, or
Duke Greymound.
yeah, Eric
Greymound has his study.
Hey, so should we just knock or just go in this time? I mean, I don't know which one has better results.
I don't know. I guess just not.
You guys hear a crash
Oh no.
inside the room.
Amelia
no.
rushes in.
Yeah, following suit.
Okay, you guys see a withered old hand sticking out from underneath a pile of books, as well as 2 feet, one bare, one soft, and a pair of bowed knees vanishing underneath the pile of books. Oh!
Grandfather, are you okay? I rush over to help him up.
Yeah, I help her too do the same.
So you guys throw several hundred gold pieces worth of books aside and pull out Eric. Eric is hunched with age. He once stood slightly over 6 foot and now is, bent beneath 6, and his hair is all gone except for a little bit on the sides and back that is stark white. His face has many wrinkles, and most of those wrinkles seem to be either frown lines or smile lines, and sometimes both. Anna! I knew my sister-in-law would see me again.
Uncle, it's Arya.
And who have you brought here? Oh, what a beautiful young lass, he says. And he bows. I'm Eric. Oh. And he's stuck and he can't get up.
I help him up.
Greymount. Thank you, my lady. Oh.
She just looks over at Amelia with this look of, oh no.
Yeah, Amelia is very oh no back.
Just kidding, girls. It's so great to see you.
Yes, thank you, Eric. It's very nice to see you as well.
He puts an arm around both of you and kind of leads you towards the balcony. There have been a few artistic improvements over the years since Greykeep has not been in any serious danger, and the balcony on the solar and the balcony addition to the dining room halfway up the keep is one such thing. And from this balcony, with its carved stone rails and wicker chairs and table, it's an excellent place to have coffee in the morning. You get to see the mist burn off the trees and such. He leads you two out there, and he leans against the rail. You're not sure if it's because he needs support or because he just wants to kind of like lean. But his old eyes are starting to go, and you imagine all he sees is a field of green in front of him. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure of my grandchild and her cousin coming to see me?
Well, do we need an excuse? We just wanted to come say hi.
Don't typically just come say hi, he says, chuckling.
That's
well, it's been a while.
It has. And Anna, how tall you've grown. I knew you weren't finished growing.
Yeah.
And Libea, you said you couldn't leave the river. I would have married you and made a proper lady out of you if you would have left the river 40 years ago.
I think he thinks you're your grandmother.
He wanders back inside, kind of ranting a little bit. He's like, our boy died not too long ago. It's just, I don't have a proper heir anymore. He died valiantly. You'll be happy to know that.
Amelia just
Saving
awkwardly
one of the.
tries to say, life will go on. It is sad, but it will be okay. Am I doing this right? She nods to Arya.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Make a roll.
Okay.
Persuasion
All right.
or empathy, maybe diplomacy, if you have it.
I mean, I don't really have any of that anymore besides the confidence itself. So that's a 7.
So you kind of like take him with one arm around the shoulders and kind of like usher him back to the great backed lion-footed chair behind the desk, which still has piles of books and scraps of paper. And I want you guys to both roll perception
All right.
with a -3.
That's a
nat
negative
10.
1.
Oh!
I think my eyes are as bad as his.
So Arya, you do recognize that there's a pattern to this research. Then Eric's like, What was I reading about?
What's the pattern?
He seems to be investigating a cult that kind of really only made its way to Alaria, or maybe the continent,
Is there any
for all you know. Maybe 50, 60, no, at this point it'd be 100 years ago.
Is it by chance the Cult of Chaos?
No. This is the cult of the Red Hand. The symbol is simply like a handprint, typically done with bright crimson paint or the victim's blood, or both. And what you know about the Red Hand is in fact very little. He seems to be, or she perhaps, it is a minor deity, but definitely a dark one, not one that's allowed in civilized places, at least not openly. Libea, you should see our granddaughter. She struggles so much with the niceties of things, but I think that she'll be okay in the end. I also hear from her sword instructor that she beats the tar out of her cousins. His false teeth fall out. Okay. He just grins toothlessly at Amelia.
Yes, that's quite a comfort to hear. Tell me more about our granddaughter.
He kind of blinks and his eyes kind of refocus, and you see he's like back in the present. That light comes on. Amelia. Yes. Then he puts his teeth in. Nah, I was just thinking about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my research there you've got there, young lady, he says, pointing at Arya, and then he looks at you. Yes.
You're looking into the Cult of the Red Hand?
The what?
Are you deaf? Or is that
It's
just me? I think I'm the deaf one. Never gets old like me. He's just like he hangs his head in his hands and runs his fingers over his liver spotted scalp before he looks back up. I've been having a bit of problem with those rascals. They've been terrorizing the countryside.
How so?
One of the Baron's sons was found dead, and admittedly, he was in a brothel at the time, so you wouldn't have heard about it. But he was found dead with a bloody handprint right on his face. A month before that, another one of our barons here in Greymound. Yes, yeah, he himself found himself on the wrong side of some ruffians. They had blades and good armor. And he saw them off quick enough, but when they ran, they dropped a note. A rather fancy one. I think it's over there. And it's a little scroll, actually, with like polished wooden
Okay.
rolling rods and such.
Yeah.
And it's actually some kind of code, but it has the same symbol, only miniaturized. Someone has made a stamp of like a hand a handprint and stamped it in red ink.
Do I hey, Amelia, you're really good at dealing with languages.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I can give it a try. May I see that? I hold out my hand.
Yeah. She hands it over.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't, I'm sure we can have Nick look at it. He's always been good at deciphering ruffian code.
This is true.
Roll code
I
breaking.
do want to give it a shot, though, first, before I hand it over to him. And I look very intently at it, very competitively at it.
Awesome. Roll code breaking.
Oh,
I have nothing even close to that. That's a 4.
It looks like there are lots of letters on this page, and these are definitely common letters.
I'm reading it over her shoulder.
Okay. Go ahead and roll code breaking at a -1 for reading over your shoulder.
Okay. Well, that's cool because I barely got a 6.
But you got a 6 with a -1.
Yeah, rolled a 7.
Look at these rolls.
I'll start rolling garbage after this, I promise.
Thanks.
It's how it always
Much
works.
appreciated.
I either start rolling garbage and then start rolling good, or start rolling good and then start
There's
rolling
some
garbage.
numbers
I see.
at the
Well,
bottom of the scroll. At first you thought it was 135, but then you realized that it was actually 135. With that clue, you go through and you pick the first letter of every block of letters, and you start stringing out a sentence. Then you do the same with the third, and do the same with the fifth. And soon this entire matrix of unintelligible letters, you've crossed off about half of them, leaving the other half as just random garbage, scrap code, if you will. And you are left with 3 sentences.
What is it?
I'm a second. I gotta make sure I don't screw something up. The Baron's men will be heading along the southern road sometime in the afternoon. Watch out for ghouls. They're sneaky buggers, and they sometimes use paralyzing blowpipes. Once you've delivered the message, get out of there quickly in case of retaliation.
When was he attacked? The Baron?
A couple of weeks ago.
What time of day?
He grabs his spectacles and fidgets with them until he gets them on the very tip of his nose, and he grabs a mirror and angles it so that it reflects extra sunlight down onto the page that he's looking at. Sometime afternoonish. I think he said in the 3rd or 4th hour after the midday.
This was a note talking about attacking him. Basically, it said that the Lord. She relays what it says. I think they were going to attack him.
I mean, that's what they did, but they failed.
Something about leaving a message? I don't quite know.
I don't know either. But... Amelia, I sent you to good schools and you can't crack this? Your cousin reads it over your shoulder and she cracks it?
I'm sorry, I was put on the spot.
What are they teaching you at that
She is
school
thoroughly
over
embarrassed.
there?
Hey, I am very good at
Are you too
swords.
busy chasing boys?
No.
He goes into a coughing fit.
Oh no. Can I get you some water?
Water, please.
Yeah, she grabs some if it's nearby, and otherwise she's gonna do fancy magic stuff.
There's always a pitcher, but for some reason your grandfather has left it all the way across the room, and his glass is all the way on his desk.
Great.
The water from the
So has the
glass
water
that he
spilled
reached
everywhere
for
then?
spilled on the desk. The pitcher is on like he left it on like a next to some plants on like a little stand.
She's just gonna go grab that pitcher and pour some water in the cup. Also, just sort of mop it up, but like magically. Just throw some of the water outside. It sounds like we're close enough to a window. And then she's going to hand him that glass.
Thank you. Thank you. The thought of you and suitors, it must have triggered my asthmatic attacks.
Oh, not to worry. I am not actively pursuing that for some time.
I mean,
Rest
if your
assured.
father were here, he could scare them away right proper. I'm getting too old for that, I think.
Well, I could scare him away myself.
But would you? He says, giving you like this, like he's like looking over the rims of his spectacles at you, like meaningfully.
She would.
Thank you.
He does not seem satisfied.
But, I mean, if she didn't scare them away intentionally, her people skills
Thank you.
He takes another drink.
I only jest.
Yes, yes, I love you too.
Hey, yeah, did you hear that the prince is what's he what's the prince doing? I think I wrote that down somewhere. He opens a small leather bound book and he's just like starts flipping through it. It's like a calendar. And the one date circled in big letters. It says royal wedding. He flips past it. It's gonna be what day is it? What year is it?
2 days.
He eventually, one of you is going to have to take that book away from him and show him.
I guess I'll do it. Takes like here. It's the royal wedding.
Ah, yes, and you should go. You should go. You would find all sorts of interesting people. Big opportunity, blah blah blah. He leans over to Arya and not so quietly whispers, "Find her a suitable match."
Amelia pointedly ignores that last part and says, "Yes, I am always excited for any chance to wear my fancy, fancy clothing."
Just like your mother.
I take that as a high compliment.
It should. Best daughter-in-law I've ever had. Only daughter-in-law he's ever had. But
I still have to get something made. Hopefully someone can make something for my awkward body in 2 days.
we have a tailor.
You will make anything look excellent, Arya. I promise you that.
I'll try.
Who are you and what have you done with my granddaughter? He reaches for his longsword that's like spell enchanted, right? And he grabs hold of it and the runes light up with this like pale blue white light and he feebly raises it up and takes both hands and it's still trembling a little bit and he like goes to stand up and he can't quite manage it. He's like, doppelganger! Then he starts to fall and he drops his sword.
Amelia just like gently lowers the sword and him back into a chair. It's okay. I've just started to grow up a little bit. Don't worry.
Okay. He pats your hand affectionately. Remember me when I'm gone, my dear. And don't let anybody take Greykeep away from the Grey Mound name. This is our keep. We built it ourselves. The people trust us. Your father, he did not leave a male heir, but you and your sister, though she may be young, I think you both have potential to be a good ruler. Please, just remember, when I'm gone, that you should rule justly and fairly. And you must protect the people, not only from the monsters without. He points out the window, but then he points down to the floor, but also the monsters within. I'm so tired. He just like slumps over in his chair and starts snoring.
Oh, thank the gods. Can we go?
Yes, please.
Yeah, she is quietly booking it. Out.
Same.
Okay, you bump into words. Wait, hold on. I think I have it here. Nope. Is it here? Is it here? Yes. Yes. Michelle. You run into Michelle. Michelle is the cook, and she runs the kitchens, and whenever she's not busy preparing a meal for the 30 or so people that constantly live here, she likes to take a walk, and she frequently checks on your grandfather. You know that. She's kind of been sweet on him, and kind of like he's a generation older than me, but he's like a sweet old man kind of thing. So she takes good care of him when she's not doing her other duties. You literally almost bump into her when you'd like rush out the door. oh my!
Michelle! She fell asleep.
Sorry.
We're going. Sorry, didn't mean to bump into you. How are you? Thank you.
You're looking good, my ladies, both of you. She nods her head, and she says, "If your grandfather's asleep, I think I'll head back down to the kitchen. Do you two want to come with me, or you know,
sure.
I hear the prince is getting married. I mean, I think you might want to get ready for that. I think I hear from the stable lads that they're readying a carriage the day after tomorrow. You know, it sounds like maybe that's a good thing, huh?"
That's what we do plan on going to the ball. That's the intentions.
So you guys are far enough away that she quits whispering. Great. I mean, oh man, to go to a royal ball, that would be something. That would be really something. The crystal glasses, the elven champagne,
Perhaps
the handsome young lords.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but perhaps if we couldn't get permission to have you go, maybe if you fall asleep in the carriage?
Oh, I can't. I can't. I really can't. I have to stay here. Someone has to run the kitchens, I swear. One of two things will happen if I'm gone for longer than a few hours during the day. Either the guards will come through and they'll just ransack the place for easy food, and there'll be a huge mess and tons of waste, or everyone will just starve to death because no one here knows how to cook a proper meal. She's quite proud of her position, if you haven't been able to tell.
This sounds like an excellent opportunity that we cannot pass up. I mean, just a little bit of mischief and a whole lot of fun out of it. And you are one of my favorite people. You know that, Michelle.
She blushes.
How about I take over the kitchens for some of the parts? I'm sure I will get bored at some point at the ball. I mean, they're fun, but they're not really my thing for all that long. So I'll take over and you can go have fun. And if we need to get some disguises in the mix, all the better.
She looks awful shocked as she considers it. And then she's like, "There's no way, darling. I could not possibly pass off as someone as beautiful as you." I mean, even if you painted her blue, she is about, twice your age, and
That's
slightly
true.
more matronly built than you might say.
Arya, do we know any just casual magic users, like illusionists, that could help us out with this?
Not that I know of. And
we should make some illusionist friends.
Possibly.
I hear one of the free barons is an illusionist.
Oh.
Almost all barons in the country swear oaths of loyalty to the dukes. The dukes, in turn, swear oaths of loyalty to the king and queen. Mostly the king, but symbolically. There are 4, however, that have been granted baronies through exceptional circumstances. And so these are 3 of them, not 4. 3 pieces of land kind of that are beholden only to themselves and the the king's laws. You guys don't know all of them, but you do know that one of them was a gnome, and it was a really big kind of scandal, because this is a primarily human nation, just in general. And then, of course, the king is human, and most of the nobles are human. It just didn't sit well with people. And his name is Gunnar Skytaster.
That is a name.
Taste the rainbow. Did he invent Skittles?
No, he invented the attack helicopter.
Ah.
And he used it to save the royal carriages. They were driving in convoy. They got attacked by a whole bunch of monsters, and he happened to be testing out his invention and decided to test it out on those monsters. Machine guns. They work quite well, especially whenever you throw in some, rockets.
Yes.
Fucked up one of the horses, but other than that, just killed the trolls that were hungry. That was for sure. Ran the rest off. So he was granted a barony as thanks for saving the current king, the young Prince Leopold, and all of their retainers and hangers. He's an illusionist, apparently. At least that is at least what Michelle is suggesting. There's no way you guys could pull this off, and it would be highly improper if you did.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was worth a shot to think about.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be the best for our image if it went south.
We already stick
Shame,
out.
though.
Lady Greymound comes around the corner. There you are. I've been talking to Damien, and he's ready for you. Come, Arya. Amelia, we need you to consult on the design. And thus, Amelia's mom just like clucks at you guys and henpecks you until you go downstairs to like the first floor, and there is the tailor shop. Now, you guys have never met Damien. You don't know who he is. There hasn't been a tailor in here for like 10 years. The last tailor, he was pretty old and died of old age, and there's like too much emotional attachment to just replace him until recently. And thus, you guys walk into Damien's shop. There are many mannequins with partially sewn uniforms or custom gentry, nobility kind of clothing on it. Rolls of fabric kind of thrown hither and thither. And a nice bit of sunlight coming in from his shop doors, which are open to the yard. And it smells like cloth, like wool and like linen, and a little bit of the dyes are kind of still in the air. Everything is fresh and vibrant, and you see scissors and such. Damien walks out. Damien is a snow elf.
Oh,
cool.
And like most snow elves, he has blonde hair and
except for Anna and Alex, who actually have blue and white.
Yeah, well, Anna is not anything like a typical snow elf.
Neither of them are.
He has the blonde hair, the very slight tan, and just almost a constant little bit of like rosiness to their cheeks. He's got glacial blue eyes. He comes out and he's got this miniature hat on his head, like it would fit like a capuchin monkey or something, and he's got it like hairpinned into place, and he's wearing a vest that's got 3 different colors of trim on it, and very tight-fitting capri-style pants, and what appears to be custom-made leather shoes that kind of curl up ever so slightly at the tip, and they're pointed, and brown and such. He sees you, and he's like, "Come in, come in."
Hi. She's kind of not making eye contact and blushing a little bit.
Amelia's just going to kind of stride in and be like, "Hello, we are here for an appointment. We hear that you have at least the first iterations of our gowns ready."
His eyes get really big. Oh, darling, no, I still have to get the fittings, he says. And he's got like measuring tape in one hand and like bobby pins in another and safety pins in his mouth. He's like,
Oh, right.
darling, I'll be as fast as possible. You're both fabulous.
Are you gonna need help with mine? Because I mean, Mom can barely reach my shoulders most of the time, and she's about your height.
He just looks at you, sizes you up like an opponent, and then leaps into action and says, "Hold still now," and kicks a stool out from away from the counter and climbs upon it, stretching out the tape and getting the distance from your shoulders and so on. Like, you with the blueberry over there. Could you please hand me the second roll of no, the red one. Yes, that one. Thank you. Please. Amelia, do you hand it to him or not?
Yup.
He called her a blueberry.
So he's working in a frenzy, and before you know it, you have all these like measuring tapes, basically just pinned to you everywhere, and then he's voila.
This is extremely uncomfortable. Is it almost over?
Almost done. He pulls out a piece of paper and starts jotting down a bunch of numbers. All right. Okay, let's get her out of this. Be careful. Don't stab her.
Ow.
Amelia, you did that on purpose. I saw it.
I did no such thing!
So he snatches the needle out of your hand and says, "All right, you're next, lady of the manor." He says, "So, how many suitors have you had to decline since you've been at school?" And he sticks the pin to his mouth. He starts taking your measurement.
Oh man, I have lost count. I mean, it's real flattering, but I am just not interested. Someday, not today. I've got stuff to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally understand. More power to you.
Do you have any idea what could ward them away? I mean, like, I stopped wearing the perfume all the time, and I think that's maybe helped a little bit, but they still keep coming, and I just kind of want to stick a sword into some of their eyes, and that would not be great for my image.
Or for their eyes, I think, he says.
Yes, but they couldn't see me.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could try like a mask. You could wear an ugly mask, or you know, mm, he looks at you. I could give you like a burlap sack you could wear, and that would hide those curves.
Thank you for the offer. I really like what I am wearing. I think I'm just going to stick with my whole intimidating thing. That seems to work relatively well most of the time.
Now, is that what you want to go for with this royal wedding? We can work. I can work with that. Fierce, like there.
I mean, I would love to look fierce.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
that,
He's,
yes,
he's
yes,
taking
please.
notes.
She actually looks like genuinely excited.
All right. Well, milady, I've got that. Now for you, what are your tastes, Hall One?
I was hoping for something with the colors of summer and I a
He's
little
like
bit of
nodding and
whimsy.
jotting things down. Whimsy.
Yes, like where I'm from.
His face goes a little bit blank. He's like, um, Ravenspire?
I'm actually from the Feywild.
His eyes light up. His mouth just goes into that perfect oval of just like amazed, right? You swear a little bit of like static starts to like raise his hair up just a little bit. He's like, fantastic. Oh, You two will be a pair, a sight, no, a marvel, I guarantee it. Uh, now, please, I must have some room to think, to think. Ah, you're taking up all the air. He starts shooing all the royal ladies in the cookout. Out, out, out. I have masterpieces to create, and you are clouding my genius.
Oh my goodness. Oh, don't touch me. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
It was good meeting you.
Door slams.
Well, that was something.
It's not often you see snow elves in this country. They're not.
No.
I mean, other than Mom and Alec.
That's true. But
they're not your typical
know.
snow elves either.
Exactly. Well, he's quite a character.
Yeah.
Lady Greymount is like, I like him.
He got that look when I told him I was from the Feywild that most elves do when they realize what I am.
Well, he had basically the same look whenever she said, I want to look fierce at a royal wedding. Michelle points out.
True.
I think this time it was a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's a big Fey elves are a big deal. I don't quite understand why, but
yeah, I mean, who knows? The fickle taste of people, right?
Fickle tastes of people indeed. You guys pass the rest of the day basically just catching up with family, spending some more time with Lady Greymount, avoiding Eric probably, talking with Michelle about the children that live here and how they're progressing. Little Jimmy is going to become a knight, he thinks, but really he'll probably become a man at arms.
I am absolutely indulging his knight fantasy, though, and I am playing wooden swords with him if that ever comes up.
Yes, absolutely. So you're playing wooden swords. He asks for theme music whenever he comes charging in to fight the big blue troll.
Arya more than happily obliges.
I'm coming to eat the whole kingdom.
He kind of screams like a little bit scared, actually, as kids somewhat do when their imaginations run away with them. You look as he takes a few steps backwards and starts to turn. He sees the sword in his hand, and he says, "By Silver's light," and he holds it up. I will have you taste Spitfire, and Spitfire is actually the name of your grandfather's sword. And Arya, what weapon? I mean, what musical instrument do you
have? She has the lute, which I believe is what her father was learning to play. So,
yeah, roll performance.
7.
You know, as they start to play, you kind of you're strumming along, trying to figure out what kind of chord progression you want. And then as he runs away, you start doing scales like do 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 do, and then
I step in time to those.
Oh,
to that little arpeggio.
I'm gonna give you a fate point for that because that was pretty perfect.
Yes.
And you get to if you get to carry over fate points that are extra. So you start with 3 at every session, and if you have more than 3 at the end of the session, they carry over to the next game. But
excellent.
You take those steps, and he looks down, and I will have you taste Spitfire, and then Arya, inspiration strikes, and you do the whole dicing game from El Dorado, and the fierce sword fight entails, and it is epic by every sense of the word, at least if you're about 8 years old. Clack, clack, stab, dodge, parry, jump, because why not jump over the sword. And
now's the perfect time for tricks.
Yes. After a while, he's worn out. but he'll catch his breath quick. He's a kid, and he's like, "Wow, you're really good. You really know how to sword fight, huh?"
I do, thank you. I've worked on it for a long time.
Maybe when you're old enough, you can train at the academy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right before or maybe after I become a knight. He says, "I've been practicing a long time too." And he like throws his sword in the air and it flips once and he catches it by the handle.
Wow, that's a nice catch.
She just
Yeah.
claps.
At which point
High five.
it's like, "Oh, you're playing knights and trolls without me?" And this is Sonia. Sonia
Ooh.
is the little sister, Amelia's little sister.
Oh.
She also has the bluish skin, though hers is strangely like almost like purplish. It's especially like around her cheeks and eyes and such. She has kind of like a aqua color hair, and it's currently bound up in like a bun. You think she just tied it up that way, and she's got like her typical like day-to-day dress, which is uh just kind of like an orange. It's a very simple dress, tied around the waist with like a faux gold cord, but she's pulling on a padded training jacket, which she's about 13, which means that it is like goes down to her knees, but it works. She's lacing it up. She's like, you should probably wake me up if I'm napping and you're home. And she walks up. She's like, "Jimmy, give me the sword." He's like, "No, it's my Spitfire." She's like, "Jimmy, I'm a higher station than you. Give me your sword." "No."
Oh no, we have to find a sword.
She's like,
Um,
she walks 30 feet and goes and grabs another training sword. This one is like adult sized, and it's not like two crudely cut pieces of wood nailed together. This is like a proper training sword. She swings it, tests it for balance, and says, "Have at thee, monster!" And she throws herself at you with the reckless abandon of a northern berserker.
Well, Amelia was going to be like, "Hey, is this going to be okay?" But now there's someone chasing her, so she's running. She is like fake slow running, in the way that you do.
The like running away music that you would hear in a movie as she just started picking back up.
And so as all that happens and you guys are eventually worn out between Jimmy and his nightly fantasies of fair combat, though dramatic combat, and your sister's idea of combat, which is cheat, use dirt, smack wrists and ankles as much as going for killing blows, and just keep swinging, and eventually it'll go down. You're pretty worn out.
Has Nick been teaching you how to fight?
Maybe.
He does like to fight dirty, little cheat.
Cousin Nick says you should always have some of this, and she reaches into the padded jacket's pocket and
is it pocket sand?
Throws it at Amelia's face and says, "Pocket sand." It doesn't actually get in your eyes.
That was rude.
It doesn't actually make it there, but she tried.
Okay. Hey, maybe let's not throw sand. Okay, that's not a fair fight. Good try though.
You make a good barbarian, Sonia. You make a good knight, Jim. And he's like, when you grow up and you're a lady, you could make me a knight. I could be one of your knights. He nods like, yeah, that's a thing. I think he like gets distracted by someone calling him, "Jimmy, it's dinner time."
Yes, the unavoidable call of food.
Sonia drops her practice sword and throws her arms around you and smashes her face into your solar plexus as she gives you a, you know, the probably the biggest hug she's ever given anybody. It's been like 2 months.
I know, it's been too long. I pat her head. Hey, should we go inside and follow them?
Yeah, I guess, she says. I mean, if you want. I mean, it's just Jimmy.
Oh, I'm always up for food. You know this.
Yeah, that's why you have to wear that leather thing right there, she says, poking your corset armor. Keep all that
Ouch.
food in there.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, let's go inside and eat, huh?
She giggles. She says, I'm on a diet.
Are you now?
Yes.
What's your diet?
I eat one personal loaf of bread and one orange for every meal. It's
Okay.
a personal
Why?
loaf of bread is just like, like maybe 4 densely packed rolls worth of bread at most, usually smaller. And she's like, well, I can't get fat. I'm a lady.
But you want to be happy too. Food's supposed to make you happy. Is this meal making you happy?
But you're so young.
Being beautiful makes me happy, and that's all that matters, she says, with this air of superiority. She's highly competitive in certain things.
Understandable. Well, Amelia's not super happy with this, although she understands obviously where it's coming from. She's like, well, if you will indulge me, maybe sometime we can try and experiment with food and see what other fun things we can come up with that also work with your diet.
That sounds good. But none of those magic mushrooms you guys do over at the academy, okay? Nick told me not to do those.
You're right. You are absolutely nope, and that is our secret. Okay?
Wait, have you guys been getting into Mother's stores again?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Arya. I am hungry. Let's go eat.
You guys pig out, stuff your face. Arya makes some music after dinner, and you guys go to sleep. The next day passes much like the first, only with perhaps a little less shenanigans and a little bit more Nick and Bowen doing their best to get into trouble. Nick is constantly trying to steal snacks or pastries or whatever it is Michelle has cooked and laying around. But she is like...
Arya's probably right there with him.
But she is like, like a mother hen, and those pastries are her eggs, and she is like ever vigilant. And thus she swats many hands and swings a rolling pin at Nick once or twice to, get him to bugger off. But then Nick comes up with the right combination of plan. He sends Bowen in to flirt with Michelle.
Oh, is there any way to record things in this world? Because I want it.
There is like a way to like extract your memory of something that happened, and then
Okay.
there's think Harry
Well,
Potter.
she's just gonna keep her eyes open, no blinking. She's going to moisturize them with like a weird water trick, so she doesn't have to blink. This is going to be gold.
I'm not gonna like give you a play-by-play, but it starts off with "Hello there, Michelle," and ends with, "Well, I might take you up on that sometime, but I'm on duty, so I think I think Amelia, there you are. I've been looking for you. Lass, look, your mama says," and that was his excuse to get out of there. He's a lot older than her, and that makes him feel very strange whenever he's dealing with like human age. Because like for a dwarf, he's a very young man and a very eligible bachelor. But for in human years, he's like I think at like 120 or something. So
Yeah, it would be like Arya flirting with someone more like her mental age. It's like, I'm 38, but mentally I'm like 17.
It's like flirting with a bunch of babies. Weird.
Bowen did know her mother and her mother's mother, so
Oh, yeah, no, that would get weird.
I changed your diapers.
and so you guys get called in towards the end of the day. It is evening, the sun is setting, and the rain is as predictable as ever, starting to drizzle miserably. It looks like it's going to soak all night.
Excellent.
Jimmy and Sonia are going bananas, trying to kill each other with wooden sticks. Only, you know, they're inside and they're going to break something, possibly, like the artistic vases, or tear one of the portraits of like Eric or Ethan or any of the heroes when they were younger and such. And so the sticks are taken away. So they steal rolling pins, and those are taken away.
Oh, no! A sword that does bludgeoning damage. Wonderful.
Then Sonia gets the great idea that they'll break into the butcher's set.
Oh
no.
What have we created?
You two intervene at that point, but Jimmy was all for it. He thought it was a great idea.
Hey,
But after that, they settle for hide and
great.
seek.
Yeah, good.
So I got distracted. You guys get called in to the tailor shop, to Damien's, and it's got like a sign with his name and like cursive. And every time you look at it, you swear, every time you look at it, some unseen light source moves across it to make like the brass look gold in like a sheen. And shwing. You think that might be mildly enchanted? Come in,
Yeah,
come in, come in. You must try them on. So
I am excited for this.
Each of you to a different, changing screen, and in there is a mannequin with your garb on it.
I can. Most of my upper body is actually above this screen.
The screen's 6 feet tall. I think you'll be fine.
Oh, okay. 6 feet tall, then. Yeah, it's a foot shorter than her, so she should be fine, I think.
So, Arya, you have almost slightly boyish clothes. He went with like the whole hunter aesthetic, and so you have kind of like a basic no sleeve tunic, but it is scarlet to match your hair, and it's completely covered like a mural with scenes from the Feywild in gold thread. He managed to come up with some kind of elastic-y material. And so you have kind of like an Under Armour long sleeve shirt that is white.
Oh, wow.
And he has embroidered green around the wrists that also come up and kind of like twist into like to vines that kind of spread out until they hit the elbow. You have very functional breeches that look like they're no nonsense, but you realize that there's a sheen to them. They're made out of silk, and they're cut in such a way to resemble riding breeches, but to feel like Arabic breezy clothing. And as such, when they're tucked into the boot, they look very, very much suspiciously not what they are. And then you've got upper calf high boots. Of course, he did not make the boots, but he picked them, and he thinks they are fabulous. They are in his opinion, the epitome of footwear. They are about 3-inch heels for you, and they are.
Oh, like she needs any help being taller.
They're women's riding boots, so they've got a pointed toe, and they're meant to fit into the stirrups properly. And that heel is to make damn sure your your foot stays in the stirrups. It just so happens to be carved with a peacock and a dragon chasing each other around the heels.
Ooh.
Ivory inlay.
But
You look like you stepped right out of the Feywild.
it's perfect.
I know. Shower me with praise, he says, fanning himself with his fingertips.
This is what I'd imagine it looks like. I've never seen the Feywild.
Oh, I thought you said you were from there.
I was born there. I was actually found in a cave here.
Amelia steps out. And Amelia, when you said fierce, he took it very literally. He incorporated parts of your regular armor, or maybe, no, he took inspiration from your regular armor.
Yes.
So there's these leather straps making a skirt, right? But these are of like the highest quality leather with like triple stitching. And when you look at the stitching, okay, it's like regular stitching on the edges, but on the inside, silver. And the stitching is in a very intricate like woven knot pattern on each strip.
Ooh.
Then there are stockings, no breeches, no skirt, just stockings. Okay, there's a mini skirt. There's a mini skirt, but it's quite mini, and it is just almost your skin tone of blue. And anyways, these stockings are just meant to kind of like smooth out everything.
Cool.
The boots that he picked for you are very similar to Arya's, but they only come up slightly past the ankle. They also have the little mural work on them. They are polished to the point where you can see your reflection in them. They have some kind of strange texture that looks like scales, like alligator hide boots. And whereas Arya's heels are like straight down, yours are a little bit more stiletto-ish. A little more. Noticeably thinner. Noticeably a little bit spikier. Now, above the skirt, he went with another kind of like Under Armour-y kind of thing, right? Long sleeves. He went with vibrant red, like crimson red. And instead of like a leather corset, he went with a molded leather breastplate that shows off all of your womanly curves.
Of course.
It's got a gold bear.
All right.
On one side and a gold lion on the other, and they're reared up like they're about to attack each other. Over that, you have a white wolf pelt.
Cool.
Over that and under the wolf pelt is a bandolier made out of, again, high quality stitch leather, silver thread, whole 9 yards. Looks like it holds about 4 throwing knives.
Nice.
Ooh.
Or daggers.
Oh.
He's like, I don't know if you wanted this like on the side or like over your back, but I was told you use hand and a halves, so I made sure that this would fit. And so you have a emerald green. It's definitely not dragon scale, but it looks just like dragon scale. Leather binding it, functional but highly decorative. Van braces, and these van braces have bear teeth kind of trimming, kind of inlaid into them and carved with scenes from up north. And it's these van braces are steel, he tells you, but they're platinum plated, and they have again kind of like Celtic knots. But on one van brace, there in the center of the knot is the symbol of the war god. Ormond. And on the other vambrace is the symbol of Luna, the goddess of the moon. And basically, he went with the whole ultra rich, what he probably thinks the people that live in the northern country look like. So he went for the whole fierce as in sexy and fierce as in dangerous.
That's interesting. He's never been there.
Okay. Amelia examines herself and goes, well, something tells me that someone may have influenced him, those people who are so impatient for me to find a man, as it were, but I don't hate it. And Arya, you look stunning, of course. I love it.
Thank you. You look fantastic. You look like you could both sweep someone off their feet and then brutally murder them.
Yes. You know what? When you put it like that, yeah, I quite like this.
Oh man. I called in every favor I had. You two are going to a royal wedding. Happens like once in a human generation. It's gonna be fabulous. You guys are going to draw every eye from all over the world. I just had to make sure that you looked the part. Every inch of you, my darlings, he says, is crafted masterpiece. And he has some accessories to go with it, like hair combs and pins and stuff.
Cool.
They're beautiful. A little... Oh, I'm already stick out like a sore thumb, though.
Yes. Oh, but you've got to own it. It'll be good. A sore thumb with a painted nail.
I like that. I do.
Or perhaps, he says, thinking, the lone tree on the savannas of Araby. Ooh, that's pretty good. I think on the back of Amelia's leather breastplate, which has the bear and the lion, has like the African tree of life, like from Lion King, the silhouette, just all in gold.
Right.
Go forth,
all
conquer,
right.
Win hearts and minds, and I don't know whatever the goal of going there is. Show off
and break them just as easily. Absolutely.
Break hearts, win minds. How about that? Can we go with that?
Yes, let's.
Oh, she just sort of slimps down a bit. I actually thought about it, and I don't think I should be dancing.
He quirks an eyebrow. He's like,
I mean, I'll watch.
You're a fey elf. Like dancing is in your blood. You can't not dance. You can't not. Amelia, milady, Amelia, milady, back me up here. She can't not dance.
I'm going to pull a move I haven't in years. Give her full-on puppy dog eyes. Ari, you have to.
I guess I can, as long as you don't tell Mom. She says I shouldn't dance because I make weird things happen.
All right, we won't tell her, but we will make an amazing pair out there. I can't do this without
Okay.
you.
Oh, and I built one
right.
small thing into yours. I could tell you get kind of, bashful, you're and a little self-conscious. I understand. I used to be that way too before I blossomed into this magnificent flower you see before you. But he says, if you ever get into a situation where you're speaking to a man and you don't know what to say, and you start becoming self-conscious, and you need a distraction, that zipper right there. You just casually pull it in a few inches, and if he doesn't blink, a few
Go
more,
on.
and keep going until he blinks. Once he blinks, you know you've done enough. You've disrupted his thought patterns, and you can start over. So this is a one-time use. This is a one-time use. This actually has a mechanical balance. Mechanical. Only once can this be used per night.
The zipper of distraction.
And it only works on characters with a sexual orientation that has them interested in you. But you...
Is it a cleavage zipper?
Hey!
So, if you fail a social roll, yeah, as long as it's not like hostile, you can use the zipper distraction to distract one person and reroll your social roll on them.
I have it written down as cleavage zipper in my.
I mean, it's not magic. He's just a hell of a tailor.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
You know, it's been a long time since I've met someone she snorted.
Damn it. I think that has become one of my more favorite items that a DM has ever entered.
So actually, these outfits you guys can go ahead and add to your inventory, unless you guys decide to like leave them in the wardrobe here or something after you wear them. But if you're gonna take them adventuring, then
fuck no.
Put them in your inventory. What you've just heard is a silly little episode 0 that we did so the players could get introduced to their characters and the world. If you like what you heard, please continue to listen as the quality only gets better as I get better at editing these things, we get better microphones and more stable setups. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on The Trash Campaign.